Holy crap. So many Phoenix Suns trade rumors, you guys. This is getting crazy, people. Um where do I even begin with all of this? Because in the last 48 hours and for the next 48 hours, we are going to continue to hear so much stuff. So if I get any of this mixed up or like in the wrong order, it's because I believe that two different articles from The Athletic dropped today with a whole bunch of trade information and intel. But before we get started, I want to give before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to my grandpa and my grandma who gave me this awesome Phoenix Suns t-shirt. It's comfortable, it's warm, I love it. And for that occasion, I also had to rock my Phoenix Suns tie. Yeah, pretty awesome. Anyways, you guys, I do appreciate it, Grandma and Grandpa. But yeah, so lots of Phoenix Suns news to talk about. I also think there's some narratives going on as well that might be getting like Suns fans mixed up and confused. So I'm going to do my best to try to break this all down and try to understand it with you guys and try to give you guys the answers. Also, later in the show, I did go on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, by the way. And I asked you guys to ask me questions, or if you have any questions to ask me. So we'll check that. I know there was one there for sure. And then there's another question that wasn't even sent to me that I saw on a Facebook, a Suns Facebook group that I might answer because it's actually a really good question. So we got lots to talk about, you guys. This is going to be a fun show. So, oh boy. Let's start here. And again, if I get any of this mixed up or if it's in the wrong order, it's just because we're literally T minus 40 something hours till the NBA trade deadline is done and teams can no longer make trades. So it's going to get crazy from here. There, like I said, there was two articles that came out today on The Athletic. And I guess we're going to start there. Now, I don't normally, how do I say this? I don't normally like share my screen and, well, I mean, I do share my screen, but when it comes to a specific article, I normally try to screen cap it. But for this one, I might just need to share my screen, go on it, and we'll just kind of check it all out. We're not going to sit here and read the whole thing because that's boring. We're just going to kind of get to the main headlines here. But if any of you are going to ask me, Suns Geek, are the Kevin Durant trade rumors real? This is where we can start the show. Are the Kevin Durant trade rumors real? Sorry, guys, that's not the button I wanted to click. Oh, I can't see. Here we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know. Okay, let's see. How do I say this? If somebody were to ask me, are the Kevin Durant trade rumors real? I would just answer with this. I can't give you like a legit answer. I would say some of it is real only because not just one NBA insider is talking about it, not just two, not just three. There are multiple NBA insiders that keep talking about the Kevin Durant trade rumors and keep mentioning Kevin Durant in trade talks. That has to mean something. More on that later, by the way. But let's start with this Athletic article and some really interesting stuff that came in that was in the article. No chat tonight, Geek. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if you guys got like a question, I'll try to get to it. And by the way, Saul, I appreciate you, man. He says, "What's up, Geek? Hulk, smash that like button. You're a real one, man. Thank you so much." Mary, I appreciate you being here. My guy DJ Ocho, I appreciate you being here. He says, "What multiverse are we in? Is this Earth 616?" That's great. Yeah, guys, like I said, if you got a question, comment, concern, whatever, put it in the chat. I'll do my best to get to it. Okay. So can we finally get to this Athletic article that I've been hyping up? So yeah, let's start here. Again, this does come from The Athletic. I'll make sure to put it in the chat. I'll put it in the description after the show. And we can really start here. Now, again, I don't want to just sit here and read you guys the whole article because that's boring. But this, at least first segment, we do have to read. And give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to sort of zoom in for you. Normally, I have this stuff screenshotted and put up on the screen, but StreamYard nowadays, I'm not even joking, costs like $50 just to have like a upgraded membership. That's just way too much. I'm not doing all that. Okay, so let's finally read this. Now, this comes from Sam Amick, David Aldridge, who's like a longtime NBA insider and reporter, and Anthony Slater, who does great work for The Athletic covering the Golden State Warriors. And Sam Amick does great work as well. Quote, as the Kevin Durant landscape continues to unfold, headed into the NBA trade deadline on Thursday, the Phoenix Suns continue to gauge, however, whatever that word is, the market for the 15-time All-Star and former MVP. The Golden State Warriors aren't, keyword there, aren't the only team trying to find a way to land the 36-year-old superstar. Because if you missed yesterday's video, I talked about how there are apparently multiple teams, and the Warriors were sort of the first team that is pursuing Kevin Durant. But in all fairness, they're apparently going after like LeBron, and so are the Mavericks. It's just so many rumors. But the Warriors think they can get every superstar the last 72 hours. They're like, we want Paul George. We want this guy. We want Jimmy Butler. We want KD. They think they can get every single superstar. So that's sort of where I want to start. The Golden State Warriors aren't the only team trying to find a way to land Kevin Durant. Let's continue on. League sources say the Dallas Mavericks, fresh off their Luka for AD swap, which sent the NBA world and really kind of the sports world into a frenzy, that sent shockwaves through the association, have dreams of adding Durant to their Davis-Kyrie led group. Now, they even do acknowledge here, while the likelihood of Dallas pulling that off now appears unlikely, the mere idea of Durant joining Dallas's star-studded group sheds new light on thinking of the Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison after he was roundly ridiculed for the Luka deal. So again, they talk about LeBron, how they're interested in him, if he declines his player option, yada, yada, yada. So let's sort of scroll down for a minute. And we're going to go right here. The goal, of course, is to win a championship as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. With Durant's expiring deal in the summer of 2026 and the Suns continuing to fall well short of title contention and really a disappointing season, again, they envisioned when they traded for him in February of 2023, which, by the way, I think we're almost 2 years to that date already, like the 2-year anniversary or whatever, or 3 years. I don't know, whatever. Rival teams have been monitoring his situation and the possibility of his availability, say that 5 times fast, for quite some time. So that's sort of a big takeaway right there. For quite some time. And not surprisingly, Durant's status is one of the all-time greats. There's no shortage of competition. Then they talk about the Rockets being interested in Devin Booker, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to talk about that. So again, there's a lot in this article. There's probably some things that I miss, and we're going to get to the Bradley Beal stuff. We're going to get to the Jimmy Butler stuff. There's a lot, you guys, that we have to get into from this one article. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So let's just start there. I don't think Kevin Durant is going to get traded. But the one takeaway from yesterday's video, and I hope you guys watched it. I hope you guys took the time to listen to that video, because the one takeaway from that video, according to Jake Fisher, who, longtime NBA insider, now writes for Mark Stein, and they're like partners on his Substack. He does great work. The one takeaway from that Jake Fisher is apparently hearing is that Kevin Durant is aware that the Phoenix Suns are listening to offers. So let's just say it didn't come from Jake Fisher. Let's say it was from Mark Stein or from Brian Windhorst or even Shams Charania. Let's say they know that Kevin Durant is aware that they are listening to offers. You know what I mean? That is the biggest takeaway from all of these trade rumors. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. Let's say nobody had inside information but me. It doesn't matter. Like, KD is aware that the Suns are listening. And that's sort of where I want to start with all this. Let's just, for a minute, just pretend that the Luka Anthony Davis trade that sent the NBA into shockwaves never happened. Never happened, right? Let's just pretend Luka still plays for the Mavs. The Phoenix Suns still have to pick up the phone. They have to do it. Not call. They don't have to call and say, hey, we're thinking of moving on from Kevin Durant. What will you give us? No. They have to pick up the phone when teams call. They don't have to publicly go out and say, yeah, we're trading Kevin Durant. You know, he's available. We're shopping Kevin Durant. They don't have to do that. But you know, especially the last few days and the next 40-something hours, their phone lines are going to be ringing like crazy. You have to pick up the phone because, especially because Luka just got traded. And that's why I said, let's just pretend Luka didn't get traded, right? Let's just pretend he's still a Maverick. That's why you have to pick up the phone, because you never know if the Phoenix Suns are going to get some kind of massive, giant offer. You just don't know. And they would be foolish to just sit there and let the phones ring. Now, not trading Kevin Durant is a whole different thing. And I don't know. Like, I have no inside information. I have no sources. I'm a fan just like you guys. Sure, I follow a lot of this stuff. And there's a lot of like reporters and insiders and people that I trust. Sure, that's sort of my quote information. But I have nobody texting me saying, hey, the Suns are doing this and the Suns are doing that. No, like, I have no information, you guys. The Suns have to be listening to offers. And if I didn't say this before, I know I texted it to some people. I'm going to continue to say it again. I'll probably say it throughout the rest of this live show and throughout the next 40-something hours. Is that the fact that Jake Fisher, Mark Stein, who is the other guy? Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated. So many others. I'm probably forgetting like 3 other. John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports. I'm probably forgetting like 2 other people. I apologize if I forgot you. The fact that that's like 5 or 6 NBA insiders that are talking about these Kevin Durant trade rumors goes to show that something is in the works. I'm gonna just say that one more time in case you missed it. The fact that multiple NBA insiders and reporters are talking about Kevin Durant and the trade rumors means that something is in the works. Something is cooking here. I don't know what this is, but this is what cooking looks like, apparently. Something is in the works, you guys. And maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's just the media stirring up rumors surrounded around, because we all know Kevin Durant and his history of being traded and asking out and all that. Maybe that's just the media being the media. And I don't want to sit here and come off like I'm clickbaiting, because I had a comment. Somebody commented saying, this is clickbait. This is nothing. I was like, okay, well, you must not watch my channel because I talk about the latest Phoenix Suns news and Kevin Durant was in the news, so I talked about it. It's like, maybe it's just the media cooking stuff up. Maybe it's Suns Twitter, who is known to be very toxic and overreactive. Maybe it's just fan speculation and rumors and fan trades. Which, by the way, Suns fans, stay off the trade rumors. It's like a drug. Don't do it. Let me take a sip of my water because we got so much more to talk about, y'all. Oh, boy. Okay. So, Saul says, just notice that hat makes your eyes pop, Geek. I appreciate that, man. Maya says, Geek, I'm ready for my goat to be free. He shouldn't have to go through this stress. Yeah, I'm sure, if there's one thing that I personally like about Kevin Durant, and I know this might sound like an unpopular opinion, but if there's one thing I love about KD is that he is a fan himself, and he sees what people tweet about him. He sees what people say about him in the media. And I'm not saying he listens to my channel. He probably doesn't even know who the heck I am, but I'm sure he listens to other Phoenix Suns media out there. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I actually love about KD. And I actually like that KD will clap back at fans. I love that. I wish more players would do that. I'm not saying I wish every NBA player would do it, but I wish more players would do it. Anyways. Okay. Let's continue on here. I want to make sure there was nothing that I really missed in this article because we have another article to go through. Yeah. So let's start here. I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but if you know how many like rumors there's been in the last something hours, it's crazy. And we will get back to the Kevin Durant stuff. Trust me, there's more, but I want to just start with this since it's in the article. This is probably the next part to focus on. And I don't know if I highlighted if it's going to show or not. Let me just see how that looks on. Okay, cool. So if you see that gray area that is highlighted there, a league source close to Bradley Beal on Tuesday said that there are currently no talks about him waiving his no trade clause and that he expects to remain in Phoenix through the deadline. Enter Durant, who could prove an alternate pathway to landing Jimmy Butler. So that's where I think some fans got a little confused. And heck, even me, I'm a little confused on that. I could sit here and probably do a whole podcast on Bradley Beal and the whole Bradley Beal situation. It's a mess. I think there was another report that came out like a few days ago that said, Bradley Beal doesn't want to be traded. He won't waive his no trade clause because of his wife and kids, which from a family perspective, I can understand that. Like from a human being perspective, I get it. I know it's a huge mess. I know. Suns fans are not happy with Bradley Beal. I mean, I get it. So there's sort of a lot to take away from just this little segment right here is that we've now heard multiple times that Bradley Beal will not waive his no trade clause. And, he is even expecting to remain in Phoenix through the deadline. So again, do not forget what Bradley Beal said. This actually came from Bradley Beal's mouth. Now I'm sort of paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of until, Matt Ishbia, James Jones, Josh Bartelstein, et cetera, until, quote, they come to me, like he is a member of the Phoenix Suns. And that's true. He is still under contract with the Phoenix Suns, whether or not he has a no trade clause or not. Bradley Beal is still under contract with the Phoenix Suns. And until Matt Ishbia and company come to him and say, hey, we found a deal and we're thinking of trading you. And would you be comfortable with like this kind of trade or going to this team? Bradley Beal still plays for the Phoenix Suns. But I do think it is because of the family. I mean, even if Bradley Beal didn't have a family, like he was a single guy or whatever, I mean, I don't think he would want to waive his no trade clause. Like, yeah, the family thing is very important. He's a fellow believer. He believes in God. He's always praising God. That's great. I love that. Praise God and everything. But you got to remember there is a human element to this. I'm sure Bradley Beal, I mean, I have no clue if this is true or not. I assume Bradley Beal's kids probably go to school in somewhere in Arizona, because he lives here. It's like, and his wife, and you know what I mean? There's that family element to it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, according to what's being reported out there, Bradley Beal's not going to waive his no trade clause as of yet, but there are still 40-something hours until the NBA trade deadline. Anything is possible in these next 40-something hours. And, I was going to talk about it later, but I might as well just talk about it now, you guys, because this is where I think a lot of the narratives, a lot of social media posts, and just Suns fans talk is getting really, I think fans are getting a little confused here. Because I think some fans see what's reported today and they're like, what? The Suns are going to trade Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler? Or what? The Phoenix Suns are trading Kevin Durant? Or wait a minute, they're not going to trade Bradley Beal? Just remember this, you guys. This is a business. Like, yes, it's a team sport, it's a game and all that, but it's a business at the end of the day. And you have to remember this. Things move extremely fast. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background. My dogs are barking. But anyways, things move extremely fast. Whether you are a Phoenix Suns fan your whole life or you've been just like a Suns fan the last 5 years, it's cool either way. It doesn't matter. Like if you're a Phoenix Suns fan, you first should know that. Things change so fast in the NBA. I'm not a big football guy. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I know things change fast in those sports. And I'm sure they change fast in a lot of other sports as well. So just know that because players can be traded, because sometimes teams just don't work, like clearly the last 2 years of the Suns have not worked, things change fast. And with new ownership and with a new front office besides James Jones and all them, it's like you have new minds. You have new people that are in the offices on the daily, running operations and trying to get the Phoenix Suns a championship. Things change fast. Players get moved. One day Bradley Beal could play for the Suns, the next day he couldn't. Like if you guys would have told me at the very start of the season, Suns Geek, Jimmy Butler is really interested in the Phoenix Suns. He wants to come here. I'd be like, no, you're not. You're like, no, he's not. You're crazy. He plays for the Miami Heat. He wants to stay in Miami. Like, I wouldn't have believed you. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. Things move so fast in this business. And just be careful with what you are like reading, and be careful with the information that you are gathering. That's why I try my best to just give you guys the best quote analysis or insight, or I guess really at the end of the day, my best opinion on what is going on. Like I literally had people who I call friends and just people on social media DM me or text me and just say, hey, is Kevin Durant getting traded? Or, hey, what do you think about this rumor? I was just like, dude, like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, this could happen, but something's clearly cooking. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's going to get nuts, you guys. I bet you we're going to get through this great live show, because this has been a great live show so far, and I hope it goes well the rest of the show. I bet you we're all going to go to sleep tonight. We're going to wake up tomorrow, and we're going to hear this rumor, and this player is going to be traded. It's going to be nuts. So let's continue on here, you guys. Lots more to talk about. And I guess we're going to start right here. Let me just make sure this is it. Okay, so we already did that one. Sorry, there's just a lot, you guys. You guys know I tried to gather all of this up. So yeah, let's start right here because this one was interesting. And I think this one was in the second article that came out. And I can't even believe this is a real thing. So check this out, you guys. Again, this comes from The Athletic. I think this was Anthony Slater's part when he was writing about it. Now, again, let me just put my microphone down. Sorry, guys, one-man show here. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because you guys probably saw Draymond Green in the thumbnail, and you're probably like, what the heck? Well, that wasn't just me trying to like get you guys to watch the show. I put Draymond Green in the thumbnail for a reason. This is all coming from The Athletic, from Anthony Slater. Quote, in conversations, the Warriors have only been met with an asking price of I can't read half of these words because I'm not smart enough. Asking price in theoretical structures, essentially everything of future value. So pretty much they said Steph Curry is the only untouchable player on this team, which makes 110%. Because if I were the Warriors GM or owner or whatever, I would, Steph Curry would be my only untouchable. So let's continue on. Considering the tricky spot the Suns seem to find themselves, league sources say four-time All-Star forward Draymond Green, who has an established relationship with fellow Michigan State alum and Suns owner Matt Ishbia, is among the Warriors players Phoenix is known to be interested in. And then I think there was something in there about Jonathan Kuminga as well. Like the Suns have like looked at him and they're interested as well. If you don't know who Jonathan Kuminga is, young, sort of young, 24, I think, upside forward, hasn't really lived up to the potential, but everyone thinks he's going to keep breaking out and he never does, but he's athletic. He's tall. So, and he's young too. I believe he's under 25. Somebody fact check me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, according to Anthony Slater, because of the connection. Oh, wow. Nick says he's 22. I thought he was like 24 or something. Okay. Because of the connection and like relationship that Draymond Green, who, is from Michigan State, so is our owner, Matt Ishbia, they have a great relationship. The Suns are interested in Draymond Green, which is nuts. I have had some very strong opinions on Draymond Green. And this is where I kind of get like at a loss for words. First off, I have no clue what this deal would look like. I don't think they would trade Draymond and Kuminga and I don't know, like throw like two other guys in there and draft picks for KD. I don't think that would make sense for either side because I know Steph Curry is the only untouchable one, but if you're trading for KD to the Warriors, you probably want to still have Draymond Green there. At least in theory, I think you would. And, a little package of like Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga and draft picks, I don't think that's going to get it done. That's another thing I saw. I saw people saying like, oh, Andrew Wiggins and this guy and draft picks for K. It's like, guys, come on. Like, no. Like, I talked about this in yesterday's video too. The only way the Phoenix Suns even like sniff or like respond to a KD offer is if they're like, hey, insert very high talented player's name here. Like this isn't true or anything. Like, I don't think the Rockets are ever going to trade him. Let's say it's like Alfred Şengün, who I think is an all-star this year or should have been an all-star. He's an all-star worthy player. Let's say it's like him or something. Let's just pretend for a minute that it's like Anthony Edwards. That would never happen in a million years, but you get my point. Let's say it's like Anthony Edwards and another player and then picks. Then, yeah, you probably consider trading Kevin Durant. I'm not saying Anthony Edwards is ever going to get traded to Phoenix. I'm just using him as an example. That's the only way you like sniff, a Kevin Durant trade if you're Phoenix Suns ownership and GMs and all that. But yeah, like it just wouldn't really make sense. But and Draymond, like that was one of the Instagram questions I had. Real quick, I just want to double check who that was. Somebody asked me like if I would want Draymond on this team. And again, I've had very strong opinions about all that. I can't find the question. Okay, whatever. Well, hold on. Give me 1 second here, you guys. Checking my phone. Ooh. I posted a lot of stories. Follow me on Instagram, by the way. Wow, we got a lot of questions. But yeah, so yeah, it was Weasel437 who writes, would you want Draymond Green to come to the Suns in a trade? Again, it's like I would have to like see that offer. It would probably be multiple players dealt. They're not going to trade Yusuf Nurkic for Draymond Green. That's extremely unlikely. It's like, I don't know, like, would Draymond Green bring toughness? Would he bring controversy? Would he bring a lot of suspensions and ejections? Yeah, I'm sure Suns fans would love that. Would he bring championship experience? Absolutely. Is he a great defender? Like, yes, I think he's won multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards, or at least 2, I believe. But is he getting older? Is he the Draymond Green of old? He's not in his prime anymore. He's getting older. I think this is extremely unlikely. But according to Anthony Slater, there's a relationship there between him and Suns owner Matt Ishbia. And the Warriors, they have like the same record we do, if not worse. Like, it's literally like Steph Curry's like, hey, get me some help. Like Curry's aging too. And you could argue, like, yeah, I know Curry was an all-star this year, but it's like Curry hasn't had that great of a season. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. It is just so many rumors, you guys. So John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports actually was tweeting while I was live, and Jake Fisher's been tweeting some stuff too. So I just want to get to that real quick. And I think even Zach Lowe, who I don't know if you guys remember him, ESPN and all that, was surprisingly let go. I think that was before they signed Shams and all that, but great NBA reporter and insider. I think even he's been talking about the Kevin Durant trade rumor. So let me just go to Twitter real quick and see what's being. This is sort of like the up-to-date moment here, because I want to see what John Gambadoro and Jake Fisher are tweeting about. Oh, and by the way, there's a good chunk of Suns fans who aren't the biggest fans of Jake Fisher. I'm like, even before I had him on my channel, I trusted his writing and his reporting. And then I had him on my channel. He's a very nice guy. And he's working with Mark Stein now, who's a heavily respected NBA insider and reporter. So shout out to Jake Fisher. I trust the guy. I don't know. That's just me, though. Okay. Let's start right here. Oh, wow. So this was Zach Lowe said. And then Jake Fisher quote tweeted it. Zach Lowe posted lots of eyes and ears around the league on the Kevin Durant situation right now. And then Jake Fisher tweeted out the eyes and ears emoji. That's, again, you guys, multiple NBA insiders and reporters are talking about this. That is nuts. Multiple NBA insiders and reporters keep talking about this. This is wild. Okay, and then let's go to what Jake Fisher also said. He's just kind of following up his stuff, but he says, we're actively monitoring Golden State's pursuit of Kevin Durant, all of Phoenix's trade possibilities, Milwaukee's conversations. Oh, and more about Milwaukee and Washington, by the way, because, Yusuf Nurkic is obviously going to be in a lot of trade rumors in the next 40 hours. But here's what John Gambadoro said 6 minutes ago. To all of you commenting on this with no knowledge, I'm not saying this will happen. There's no chance. I'm saying I would not give up Dunn, Oso, and all 3 firsts as a package of a 35-year-old Butler. Yeah, so speaking of that, somehow like ESPN had this like article where they were like coming up with like trade ideas, and somehow like Ryan Dunn got thrown in there, and there was like another trade with Oso and Gadaro, and I'm like, guys, the Suns, especially with Ryan Dunn, would be foolish to trade Ryan Dunn. Like, I saw that article, I saw like the main headline, I saw the trades, I was like, I see Ryan Dunn's name in there, I'm like, nope, like, we're not trading Ryan Dunn. That's not happening. Yeah, that it's extremely unlikely. And I think they truly do believe in Oso Ighodaro. I don't think he's going anywhere either. So yeah, it's just been wild, you guys. Speaking of Gambo, though, I probably should have started with this before but I just wanted to see what that tweet said. I think he was just confirming something in that last tweet. And I feel like we've sort of talked about this, but I do want to give a shout out. Where did my screen go? What is going on here? Again, John Gambadoro has been all over the Sun stuff. He's been covering the Valley sports for years. He definitely has the inside information. Also, I don't know if I ever talked about this. When Nick Richards got traded, I went live with Suns Jam and the Aussie Suns fans. John Gambo actually retweeted that podcast episode. So shout out to Gambo. I do appreciate that. But yeah, this was sort of the big tweet here from Gambo. I said yesterday the Warriors have been aggressive in looking to see if the Suns would move KD. The Suns have gotten calls from quite a few teams on KD. I think a lot of it depends on if they can land Butler or not. And I love that tweet. That has to be like a great way to explain what is happening with Phoenix right now. And I feel like we've sort of been talking about that for a while. Like, if the Jimmy Butler stuff does not happen, the Phoenix Suns have to pivot. They have to make some kind of spontaneous, improvised move. I don't even know if those are the right words for that situation. They have to do something. And I think a good way to explain it is if, let's say, the Jimmy stuff falls through, I think it really just depends on what the Suns do at the deadline. Let's say Kevin Durant is not traded. Let's say for some reason the Jimmy stuff falls through. Let's say they just trade Nurkic or something. The Suns are going to have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. And I've been saying that for the last couple of months. If the Jimmy Butler stuff falls through, KD doesn't get traded, let's say Beal doesn't get traded, let's say they only trade Nurk, at the deadline, they're going to have a lot of decisions to make. I'm not saying they're going to blow it up. I'm not saying they're going to rebuild. I'm not saying they're going to go in the youth movement, but they're going to have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. The only way they don't make those decisions is if for some reason they go on a magical run and get to like the Western Conference Finals. Then yeah, you're probably like, okay, this team works. Let's keep it, especially if you overachieve and you go to the finals. But at the time of this recording, that does not seem likely at all. I mean, we'll be lucky if we get past the first round. Like, yeah, I believe in my team. I want the Phoenix Suns to win, but the way this team's been playing, our record right now, the inconsistencies, all that stuff, we'll probably be a first round exit. And I hate to say that, y'all. Like, I don't know. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything because there's just so much going on. Speaking of Nurkic getting traded, here's a good one. Sorry, guys, give me a second here. And again, if I missed your comment question, I'll try to get to it. I mean, don't like spam it in the chat, but like, you can post it a few times and I'll try to get to it. Okay. Because we're already 40 minutes in, y'all. This is getting nuts. So yeah, try to get your guys' comments, questions in right now. So this comes from Steve Bulpett. I hope I pronounced his last name right, or at Steve B Hoops on Twitter. And no, this isn't just some like random fan. He's a senior NBA columnist on at Heavy on Sports. He's been covering the Celtics and the NBA since 1985. So it looks like he's got a lot of credentials, right? So speaking of Nurkic getting traded, which I sort of guess that's sort of my only like opinion, is I would be absolutely shocked if Yusuf Nurkic is still playing on the Phoenix Suns after February 6th, especially with his recent comments and apparently him not having a relationship with Mike Budenholzer and him getting completely benched. He's not even playing 1 minute. He's not even playing garbage time minutes. He's literally benched. So speaking of Nurkic getting traded, Steve B Hoops on Twitter writes, hearing from sources that a Chris Middleton from the Bucks to Washington for Kyle Kuzma is getting close, as is Wizards, Suns, Valanciunas, and a Nurkic move. And then he talks about like he's going to write a story on it, you know, because the Wizards, they're in year 2 of a very long rebuild and they're tanking for Cooper Flag. And I've been fascinated with their rebuild. I could do a whole podcast on their rebuild alone. And then another person who I follow, who I really trust, I think his name is Greg Feinberg, covers the Wizards. He even tweeted about it as well. So it looks like the rumors are sort of getting real here. Sorry, guys. I need to take a sip of my water. Give me a second here, you guys. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me know what you guys are drinking as well. So it looks like a possible Yusuf Nurkic, maybe Jonas Valanciunas trade is going to happen. Now, John Gambadoro had a tweet on this as well, and I do feel like it is worth talking about, that maybe the Suns could flip Valanciunas if this trade does happen. He says, not done, but possible, but would only be tied to a bigger trade. Suns would have to give up a pick on this. Remember, we only got like 3 picks that are in our control. So it would be part of a bigger deal. Suns not really interested in Jonas Valanciunas. So that's interesting. If John Gambo is correct in his reporting, which I believe he is, it kind of sounds like they would flip Yusuf Nurkic, or excuse me, they would flip Jonas Valanciunas if this deal goes down. But I'm curious because, again, the Wizards are like in guys, seriously, if you have not been following the Wizards, which I understand you haven't, they were garbage last year. They got like the number 1, I think it was the number 1 or number 2 overall pick last year. They've won like 8 games or less. They're awful. They're literally playing their kids over their like experienced veterans, which makes sense. I mean, you're in year 2 of a rebuild. You have a clean salary cap sheet. You have a ton of draft picks. You're trying just to see what you have. But like, would Yusuf Nurkic going to Washington make sense? Unless they're thinking the same thing. Hey, trade us Yusuf Nurkic and we'll flip him and then give us a pick. Is that what they're thinking of doing? Like, I don't know. Like it, and again, like, I mean, like Jonas Valanciunas, like that would get us somewhat of a return. And I like Jonas. I think he's a good player. He's like an enforcer out there. He can rebound. Not much on the offensive end. I'm just like, dude, I don't, this is nuts, you guys. I try to remind fans and my friends, and I try to remind you guys as well. I'm not trying to sit here and sound like I'm a know-it-all, but I really do believe this, you guys. Because this really does mix, this really does, how do I say this? I feel like this is really true with not only the KD rumors, but with all the Nurkic rumors, all the Beal rumors, I really do believe this. That trades, at least on paper, in the moment, they have to make sense for both teams. We can't just trade Bradley Beal to the Bucks or the Heat or something because it makes sense for just Phoenix and Phoenix only. You know what I mean? That's why Jimmy Butler hasn't been traded yet. Even though, that's a bad example because it seems like the Heat just want to just trade him for anything. But you get the point. It has to make sense for both teams. This is a business. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of contracts and people involved. It is extremely rare when teams just do a trade and it favors the other team. It's rare. Now, in hindsight, we can be like, oh, that team blew it and they lost. That's in hindsight. But in the moment, like, it has to make sense on paper for both teams. So that's why I'm a little confused by the Nurkic thing. I definitely believe Nurkic is getting traded. Don't get me wrong. But to the Wizards, unless it's what I said, like the Wizards are like, give us a pick and we'll flip Nurkic and get, a pick out of that and more assets, and you guys can get Valanciunas and you can flip him for assets. And and the Bradley Beal stuff, you guys, I don't know. I really don't. And even the Jimmy Butler stuff. It might sound irresponsible of me as a content creator and somebody who covers this team. I've on purpose stayed away from the Jimmy Butler stuff for the most part. Like, yeah, a couple days ago I made a video on it. That's because I didn't do a video in 5 days. I was sick. I had to get you guys some kind of a video, but I've stayed away from it because it's the same old reporting over and over and over again, reworded. Even like Shams Charania said something along the lines, and like I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's like Shams Charania said it's like deja vu at this point. Like, Jimmy Butler wants the Suns, Phoenix wants Jimmy Butler. They're trying to work out a deal. Bradley Beal's no trade clause. Yada 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 yada. It's the same reporting, the same rumors, but just reworded over and over and over again. I'm like, guys, I'm not going to sit here and make a million videos about the same report over and over and over again. It's like, guys, just get it over with. And if anybody's curious what sort of my updated thoughts are, and maybe I'm just reacting in the moment, maybe I'm just being over dramatic in the moment, Jimmy Butler is still a great basketball player. He's a playoff riser. But I don't know if he fixes all of this. And especially with how expensive he is and how we're probably going to have to like pay him and like lock him up on a big contract. I don't know if I want that. Especially with all of the reports that have come out with like him missing the team plane and him being suspended due to like his behavior around the team and it being like disastrous for the team and just all that stuff. Like, it's just, and I'm not saying he would like come to Phoenix and do that here, but it's like, do we really want that on our team? And yes, he's a great player. He's an former all-star in this league. He's been to the finals twice, been in some great playoff games, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if he fixes this team. Sure, I wish that we could sort of step into another reality and see what KD, Booker, Jimmy can accomplish the rest of the season. Heck, maybe the Suns overachieve and they get to the Western Conference Finals like I keep dreaming in my head. But we don't know if that's going to happen. Michael says, I did it on 2K. Yeah, like, let me know how that went. Like, I wish we could, like, step into a reality where we could just see with our own eyes if the Jimmy Sun stuff is going to work. And that's another thing, you guys. Let's say it doesn't work. let's say we trade for Jimmy Butler and it doesn't work and we give up picks and we give up a whole, I mean, I know it's not our money, but we give up money and like, I don't know, like we give up all this stuff for something that just doesn't work. And then what if Kevin Durant asks out? What if it's like the middle of summer and Katie's like, hey, sorry, D-Book, this ain't working. I'm out, man. I mean, I doubt he's going to do that, but I know Kevin Durant gets painted that picture that he just like, if his team isn't winning and things are bad, he asks out. I don't think he's going to do that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Okay, guys, for real this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, by the way. The ticker is going by. Follow me on TikTok. I call it TikTok. TikTok. Follow me on Twitter, IG. I'm going to look at my Instagram questions and answer them. And then I might answer a question that wasn't even submitted to me that I just saw that I think is really worth talking about. So right now, I will do my best to highlight them and get to all of them. Ask me a question. Also, I'm just going to answer one question right now because unfortunately it's not going to happen. MC Cole 42 writes, what about Tyson Nurk and Beal for Tyrese Halliburton? I doubt that's ever going to happen. Obviously, nothing in the NBA is impossible. The Pacers have had a roller coaster of a season. Tyrese Halliburton is not an all-star. He's actually been pretty bad this year for the most part. But even then, I doubt the Pacers would do that. I don't see that happening. Okay. So, like I said, get your questions and comments in. Let me pull up the little banner here. This is going to be the Q&A Suns Geek question thing. Okay. Give me a second here, you guys. Just pulling up the questions from earlier. Thank you to everybody who submitted a question or is going to submit a question. I do appreciate it. So we got a few questions here on my Instagram. I already answered Weasel's question, kind of. The Draymond Green one. Jack says, do you think KD is getting traded? And if so, what team can offer the best package? So let me just answer the last part of his question. If so, what team can offer the best package? First off, great two questions sort of in one there. But in my opinion, from what I know, it most likely would be the Houston Rockets. But I believe their GM, I think his first name is Raphael Stone, however you pronounce his name. Their GM, Raphael Stone, has even gone on record way before the deadline. And I think he said, we're good. We like our team. I mean, what? They're like third, fourth in the West or something? They are dogs on defense. They are well coached by Ime Udoka. They have a great young core. I think it's Amon Thompson or Asar Thompson, whatever twin that is over there. He is a rising star in this league. And they've had great players like Jalen Green and Alfred Sengun and just so many other key contributors to that team. It makes sense why their GM would say, sure, we can make a big trade and bring in a superstar, but we're not going to do that. We like our core. You know? Sure, they could package a bunch of players for Kevin Durant or for Jimmy Butler or for whoever, but you'd be breaking up that young core. You know? I don't see that happening. It's a great question though. And you know, maybe as some insiders have reported, maybe Dallas could make us a package, even though I doubt that happens. I'm sure there's like 5 other teams that I'm forgetting that could offer us a great package, but I don't see it happening. So Claire asked a question, what is your honest opinion on trading Kevin Durant? What trade would be worth it? I feel like we've already covered that. I appreciate the question, but again, it's like you would have to offer a high-level player, tons of draft picks, and maybe even another player for the Suns to even consider it. But I do appreciate those Instagram questions. Okay, guys. So let's get to some questions here because I don't have the biggest following in the world, but I appreciate any time people just submit questions. The fact that you guys are even watching right now and chiming in and listening to what I say. We got 129 people in here. Let's just smash that like button, you guys. Seriously, crush the like button. And do me a favor, you guys, if you can. Just go on the YouTube thing, find that share button, share it to your Twitter, share it on Instagram, tell your cousins or grandparents or friends, family, tell your coworkers. That really helps the channel, especially if it's a word to mouth thing. Like, just share the show. Tag me in it. If you do share it, please. I'd appreciate it. Any support on this channel helps big time, you guys. Let me take another sip of my water and we'll get to questions and comments, and then we'll probably wrap up the show. Give me a second here, you guys. Okay, my bad, you guys. All right, let's see. Just make sure I didn't miss any questions. Michael says, Geek, what's for dinner? I had Chinese food tonight, you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I had Chinese food. Okay. Get some other questions here. Geek, Booker lost a free throw contest last night to DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, but we also lost the rebounding battle and lost a rebound at a key moment and just blew that game. You know what? I'm kind of glad you said that, because obviously the season's been disappointing. Obviously the season has been a letdown. Obviously last season was one of the most saying last season was a disappointment is an understatement. Last year was one of the most frustrating Suns seasons ever. This season's been pretty close, if not even more disappointing. I don't know how Matt Ishbia, James Jones, CEO Josh Bartelstein, et cetera, I don't know how they can see our last two losses, which were, by the way, they were back-to-back losses. I know we had a day off in between, but back-to-back losses against I know they've been playing better. They've won 8 out of 9, but a pretty bad Portland Trailblazers team. They have a bright future, but they'll probably be a lottery team this year, or in the top 20 in terms of the draft. I don't know how you lose those games, and you've had so many other disappointing losses. I could go down the list of some of our worst losses of this season. I don't know how you see all that and think, oh yeah, we should stand put at the deadline. We're fine. We're good. We'll ramp it up when the season starts coming to a close, and we'll make a long playoff run. I don't know how you do that. You have to do something. You have to do something, Phoenix Suns, please. I know earlier I was talking about how this is just a business and yada, yada, yada. But for the sake of your fans, you have to do something. For the product on the court, for the players themselves, you have to do something. You don't want Kevin Durant to get traded. You don't want Kevin Durant to ask out. You want to keep Devin Booker happy. You have to do something. And I'm not saying this something move is going to fix everything. I'm not saying this something move is going to be like a game changer for this team, but you have to make a move. And I'm not just saying that because I cover the team and I make YouTube videos and I do these live shows. Even if I didn't do this YouTube stuff, I would be saying the exact same thing to my friends. The Suns have to do something, y'all. They have to. Okay. I wish I was smart enough to answer this question. How does the second apron work? I don't know. Lots of money, math, and words that I can't read. That's how the second apron works. Let's see. Okay, so good question from Raymond. This is a fair question, because remember when Claire asked me, who has the best package for a Kevin Durant trade? the Jazz definitely have assets. They do. They're not trading Larry Markkinen. In fact, I don't think he can be traded because it's like something in his contract. It's not a no trade clause, but it's like he just can't be traded for some reason. But even if he could, the Jazz have a ton of assets. Hold on, you guys. John Gambador just tweeted again. I got to see this. The KD to Golden State has taken a lot of life on its own the last 24 hours. Look, I do not know for sure, so not reporting. I did talk to several teams today that have heard the same thing. One told me, quote, he will most likely end up in Golden State. With Butler to Phoenix, we'll keep digging. What? Oh my God. Okay, but I'm gonna finish up this Jazz thing. The Jazz have a lot of assets. They have a lot of young players. Larry Markkinen, especially last year, is a borderline-ish all-star player. They have tons of draft picks. We just traded them picks, by the way, not too long ago. But like Kevin Durant to Utah just would make no sense. But holy crap, you guys, we got to get to this John Gambadoro tweet. I'm so glad I didn't end the live show. This is now again, he even said he's not reporting, but this seems like something, you guys. Holy crap. If this is true, you guys, I don't know how I'm going to react. John Gambadoro says this, and this is what we've been talking about this whole live show. The KD to Golden State has taken a life of its own in the last 24 hours. He says, look, I do not know for sure, so not reporting. But he says this. I did talk to several teams today. It's on the screen if you guys want to read it. That heard the same thing. One team told John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports he will most likely end up in Golden State with Butler to Phoenix. We'll keep digging. That makes no sense. And I'm not saying it's John Gambadoro's tweet here. It just for the Phoenix Suns, that makes no sense. If we trade, oh my God, you're getting a live reaction here, you guys. If we trade Kevin Durant and somehow Jimmy Butler ends up on the Suns and we have to like sign him to that big deal, that just seems so counterproductive. That just seems so it just doesn't make sense. My heart is like racing right now, you guys. Oh my goodness. If that is real. I would I'm at a loss for words. Okay. Until we hear something else, let's continue with the questions. That's nuts, you guys. Give me a second here, you guys. Mug says, yo, Suns Geek, that jersey is so dope. Thanks, man. Big shout out to Suns Uni Tracker. I'll full screen my thing so you guys can see. Yeah, shout out to Suns Uni Tracker on Twitter, who was nice enough to send me that. I appreciate it. It's a great jersey. I believe he's got a couple left on his site, I believe. DJ Ocha, I appreciate you, man. He says, always going to support. Appreciate that, man. Rob, I've talked about this. I don't really want Jimmy Butler. Michael says, Suns could use a DeAndre Ayton type center, Geek. Yeah. Oh, boy. Okay. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Man, why am I seeing like a lot of hate on Booker, man? Like I was like arguing with a guy in my comment section about Booker earlier, man. What? So I think this is a good. Wow, there's a lot going on in the chat, y'all. What do I want the Suns to do? Honest answer. Damn, that's such a good question, man. Like, I honestly don't know. I don't know if I can answer that, like, because clearly this is not working, but you don't necessarily want to rebuild either, you know? You don't want to just blow it up. And I've talked about that so many times in my live show, you guys. The Suns are literally like stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know? DJ Ocho says your dogs are reacting as well to that Gambo tweet. For real, that Gambo tweet blew some things up, man. Oh yeah, so I saw this one earlier, or I think this was from Ivan. I saw some other. It might. I don't know. I'm losing it at this point. Hi, Suns Geek. Do you think a trade with the Rockets is possible that would include Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, other salaries, Steven Adams, for example, and 3 future picks? Do you think that's enough? So, yeah, I kind of talked about that earlier without all the names. It's definitely enough, but for Kevin Durant, like, I don't know. I think you would really have to, I mean, those are good players, but you would have to get like a star level player back, plus half of that, so half of the other guys and some draft picks. And again, I don't think the Suns would do that. And the Rockets, again, have even said, we like our young core. We're keeping it. I don't know. Okay. I'm sorry that I keep like missing questions and comments. There's just so much going on in the chat. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Yeah, could you guys imagine Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler on the same team together? As Raymond says, they would get into it with each other every single day. I really believe that. I think they would, at least at first anyways. Either that or we would be the toughest, dirtiest team in the league because we have those 2 guys on our team and they would toughen us up and they'd be sort of that enforcer that we need. Or they would get like suspended every other game or fined or ejected. I don't know. Guys, is there anything I missed? Is there? I don't know. There's so much going on. If this KD stuff keeps cooking like I believe it's going to over the next 40 hours, I will make a YouTube short. I will make a video. I'll go live again. I don't know, you guys. I think that's really it though. That's sort of all the Suns news that I've been seeing, that I've been hearing. Like, I don't know. There's a lot going on in the NBA. I know I didn't make a video about the Luka stuff because, one, I was sick a couple days prior, and then I started feeling a lot better, and I went out for karaoke with a friend's birthday party, and then I stayed out a little too late that night, let's just say that, and I got sick, and I didn't talk. I should have just pulled out my phone, just talked about it then, but I just didn't, but I don't know. And then the next day, De'Aaron Fox was traded. That was part of the Zach LaVine deal. It's like, guys, like I love this league. I love the NBA. It is pure cinema on and off the court. I love the NBA, y'all. It's so good. Nala says we need a better center than Plumlee. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Plumlee's also on this team. Unless he's like legit our third stringer and you put like Oso Ighodaro over him. Because it really does seem like Mike Budenholzer, our coach, really favors Plumlee. But I think Oso needs some more minutes. Michael says, can we get LeBron Geek? Hey, after Luka got traded, it's not impossible, but you would have to give up everything for LeBron. I don't see that happening. Should we make a trade for Zach LaVine? We're not trading for Zach LaVine. He just got traded to Sacramento. That's funny. Did you go to the Deuce in Phoenix? I saw that my guy Flex from Jersey was there in December. I've never been there before. I would like to go one day. But no, I've never been there before. I would like to go. Oh yeah, can I talk about the Luka thing real quick? Because obviously there's been so much reporting and like all the stuff coming out about Luka and the Mavs GM Nico Harrison and why they made it the trade. But I kind of wanted to remind you guys of something. Now, again, this is just coming from what was being reported. And I forget, I apologize to whoever did report on this. I don't know if it was like Tim McMahon or Tim McMenamin or like Brian Windhorst or Shams Charania. I don't know who it was. But Nico Harrison, the Mavs GM, only called the Lakers. It's not like they made Luka available. It's not like they put him on the trade market and started calling people. They literally only called the Lakers. So it's not like the Suns could have gotten Luka. I think there was a 1% chance, if that the Suns could have gotten Luka. So I just wanted to remind people of that. If there's Suns fans out there that are like, why didn't we get Luka? Why didn't we trade for Luka? We could have had Luka. Guys, they didn't call Phoenix. They didn't call Houston. They didn't call, I don't know, all these other teams. They only called the Lakers. And that sucks because now we can, I mean, I guess it's a good thing because we can hate the Lakers even more, but like it sucks because now Luka, who's a top 5 player in this league, now plays for the Los Angeles Lakers in one of the most stunning, craziest trades, arguably the biggest trade in basketball history, or at least in the last 25 years, because Suns Digest, I appreciate you guys being here. Says nervous to go to bed. Yeah, it's like I feel like right when I end this live show, like something big's gonna happen. But hey, maybe I'll do another live show or I'll just do a video or something. Okay, well, just making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. I don't really have anything else to talk about except one more thing, actually, before we go. Okay. He's receiving a lot of hate for this. And I don't know what possessed him to tweet about it. I shared it just for fun. I don't know if he was just trying to get more followers or something, but one of my favorite follows on Twitter, who most of the time usually tweets out a lot of great stuff, he tweeted out at 5:15 p.m., just heard from a source, Kevin Durant is being traded. Now, I don't know what possessed him to tweet that, but I retweeted it. He's receiving a lot of heat for it. He could just be trolling, but I don't know. So I'm glad my guy DJ Ocho said this because I was legit thinking about this. You want to know what's crazy, you guys? I remember 2 years ago. Thank you, DJ Ocho, for saying this. 2 years ago, I remember, I think it was like the night before, somehow Kyrie Irving was like rumored to like either be traded to the Suns or something like that. It was so long ago. Remember, this was before we had KD. Before we had KD. It was like 2 days ago or 2 days before the deadline or like a day before the deadline. And then the next day at midnight, or I guess the next night at midnight, Kevin Durant got traded. Like DJ Ocho even says it. You did a live, then it ended and he was traded. I think that's how it went. But I remember I was doing live show after live show. And I remember specifically talking about Kyrie Irving. And then either at midnight, KD was traded, or the next day, or whatever it was. And for some reason, I have this like gut feeling. I'm like, maybe it's just the media stirring it up. You know, maybe I'm just buying into all the reactions. Maybe I'm just reacting live into the moment. I just have like this gut feeling like it could all be a coincidence, but I'm just like, what if that happens again? What if I'm doing these live shows and then just bam, like KD gets traded? Like, I don't know. I just have like this feeling, you guys. I don't know. Mary, I appreciate you. She says, thank you for keeping us updated on the Suns news on Instagram and YouTube. Yes, guys, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, especially on YouTube. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Follow me on IG. I feel like I'm more active on IG than I am on Twitter, but yeah. So funny about this one right here. Geek, KD removed all of his IG Suns posts. So it might have been Suns Fever on Instagram posted about that. And for some reason, I shared it to my story. But then I remembered Kevin Durant doesn't post that kind of stuff. You know, he like doesn't. Like he posts NBA stuff, but he's never, I don't think he's ever once posted like an actual picture of him like in a Suns uniform, to my knowledge. So again, that's another like narrative that was going around, and it's my fault. I shouldn't have like shared that post, and the user shouldn't have posted that post. I don't know. But yeah, that's just a narrative going around. Okay. Yeah, I know I say I'm going to keep I don't know. Okay. Well, for real, you guys, I think that's it. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Maya says, Geek, this is stressing me out. KD plus Man City is falling apart. Oh boy. Yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Like I said, I will do my best to keep you guys updated on the latest Phoenix Suns news. I'll do a live show. I'll make a video. I'll do YouTube shorts. Speaking of that, before we go, I will be live February 6th, probably as early as possible, especially right when the trades start happening. I will be live, and it's going to be a fun day. Regardless of what happens, it will be a fun day on February 6th. Really looking forward to it. Cannot wait to see what happens. I expect the Phoenix Suns to at least make one trade. And remember this too, you guys. There always is the buyout market, and a lot could happen in the off season. Just saying. So I will be live during the trade deadline. I know there's going to be a lot of other Suns podcasts and creators that will be live that day too, but would really appreciate your guys' support if you guys could tune into that show. And just stay tuned, you guys. Turn on your notifications. Be very careful of what you're reading, as they call it. Don't get sentineled, if you know what I mean. There's that troll account called NBA Sentinel who posts crazy stuff. I'm not going to lie. I even fell for it earlier because somebody like photoshopped Draymond Green commenting on Kevin Durant's post, and then they photoshopped like Booker responding, you know, but it was fake. I retweeted it, realized it was fake, and then quickly untweeted it. So just be careful, you guys. Don't get sentineled. Don't get faked shams. Make sure you're checking who is posting it and if they are legit. And just stay tuned, you guys. We are T-minus 40-something hours till the NBA trade deadline. Tomorrow's February 6th, or February 5th, I'm sorry. It's going to get nuts. Even like when we wake up on the 6th, we're going to hear all these rumors, and then it's going to get really quiet, And then like probably around noon, even before noon, it's just going to be like trade after trade after trade after trade. It's going to be nuts. I cannot wait. So stay tuned for the latest Phoenix Suns news. I will do my best to keep you guys covered. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Remember to be kind to people, love on people, stay safe. God bless. Peace out. And remember, you guys, maybe I'm alone on this, but win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. I mean, I'm going to watch this team regardless because I'm a Phoenix Suns fan at the end of the day. Love you guys. God bless. Hulk smash that like button. Share the show. And I'll see you guys in T-minus 40 hours. Love you guys. Bye. Go Suns. Smash the like button. Do it right now.
What's up, Sons? Geek?